Hello, everybody. My name is Jörg Luther. I'm the product owner for Converging Invoicing, which is part of PRIM. PRIM is Billing Revenue Innovation Management. And in today's session, I want to give you an overview. As a first, I will start with our documentation. So in the last year, we worked a lot about the documentation. And here I want to show you how you will find what in the SAP universe. The next is one new technical functionality, that is the enhancement framework. I will give you some hints how to use it or why you can use it. Then I will also show you one industry topic, that is the ISU integration. And at the end, my colleague Julian Wagner will give us a demonstration about the situation management.
Yes, hello.
Okay.
Also hello from my side. This is Julian. I am developer within the Convergent Invoicing team, and as Jörg said, I will be giving a short demo on the situation handling within Convergent Invoicing today.
Thanks, Julian. So let's start about the available information. So I want to show you where you will find what. As you know, in the moment, we are live with 3 different kind of products with PRIM. We are in cloud, we are in S/4HANA, and we have our old product in the ECC. And for all of them, we have different links for the documentation and for something else. I will switch to the documentation here. So that is our SAP help portal. That is the first screen of the help portal. That is the help portal for S/4HANA. For ECC and for cloud, it looks like the same, but I will show you later the difference. It's only a small difference. Here, the default is always the latest release. In this case, for SAP S/4HANA, it's the release 2020. But if you want to get information about other releases, you can select here your release which you will have or should have. A first overview about our solution, you will always find this in the feature scope description. I think it's important for consultants if you will have just new customer, also important for just new customer to get an overview. I will do a deep dive into this feature scope description. You can search here in this document. Here just one tip from my side, you always have to search to Convergent Invoicing. If you only search for Convergent, then you will come to omnichannel converging billing, which is part of SD. So the tip, please always search for converging invoicing. Yeah, by this section here, you will get the first information for converging invoicing for PRIM. Yeah. So it's not so long, but you will find the first information. Though back to the help portal here, that is on this tab Discover. Also what's new. Here you will find the latest information about the release. So as it says, what is new, which kind of functionality we delivered with this release. Also here we have a what's new viewer. Also here you can work with the search term, convergent. Here only with the word convergent, you will find directly the convergent invoicing. If here has a lot of possibilities, you can use this different kind of filters. If maybe you're also looking for something else, here you will have a short description about what is new, what we delivered with this. It's always only with this release which you selected on the main screen. So you can try it later on. I will go back to the overview. Yeah, as I said, you will this link. It's about what's new viewer belongs always here to the selected release. So this was a short information about our help portal. As I said, it's more or less the same for S/4HANA, for ECC, and for cloud. But I will go to the cloud information. If you are interested to the cloud, here we have one different to the other one. It's here about the versions. In the cloud, we will do the upgrade to the next version always central. That means SAP will do it for you. And so only the latest and the release, the version before, can be selected. So in this moment, the 2011 version is the current one, and the oldest 28. So only the docker for these two versions are active. Now to the documentation. This was just only an overview about what's new and the features, but more interested is the concrete documentation, how it works. Here we have one, so you can also use the link help.sap.com, but we recommend to use the shortcut. It's then, for the cloud is S4CE Prim, and for on-prem documentation is S4 OP Prim. I will also do this. I will copy the link here out of the PowerPoint. We'll switch back to the web browser. If I will use this link, so I will jump directly to our documentation for billing and revenue invasion management for converging invoicing. So here we are on the main point, central point for converging invoicing. And if you will do a deep dive on this, you will get all of this detailed information around the single functionalities about converging invoicing. Please use it. And of course, if you will miss something, please write me an email and I will check it if it's really missing, or if we can do something else or rename it, whatever. So we are here really need your help to increase the quality of our documentation. What else do we have? We have also the community sap.com. I do not know if you know this. Just copy the link, go back to the web browser. Also here, there is more or less the SAP community. It's for you, for our customer, for our consultants. Here you can ask a question how it works. Here you can ask whatever, and somebody else out of the SAP community hopefully will help you. If not, also one of my colleagues is always looking to this, and if in let's say in 1 or 2 days nobody will answer out of the community, then you will get an answer from my colleague. But also here you can then search for convergent invoicing, and you will get all messages which are available. Yeah. But for me, the most important information for you, for customer, for consultants, is here the new Roadmap Explorer. So I will show you the Roadmap Explorer. Also have here a link in my web browser. What is it? Of course, it's you will see the roadmap. First, also here you can select 2 different products. My pre-selection is always the billing, revenue, innovation management, but also it could be that you are interested in other products. You can select here your product, or some other kind of processes, or you are from a special industry. So here you can see directly which a new feature will come in the future. But not only in the future. For this, we have here this little calendar help. Here you can select, for example, I will scroll down. So what was coming in the Q1 2018, let's say until, oops, sorry, again, the Q1 2018 until end of the year 2019. I think that is, no. So now I selected 2019 until end of 2020. However, this is very important or very, very nice to know if you will do an upgrade. Yeah, you have this one release, and you want to know what was coming between your release and the actual release, the current release, which you will do the upgrade to. Then you can see all these features which we delivered in between. Here, it's of course it's for the PRIM product. First, we will always start with contract accounting, then conversion invoicing, pricing, charging, and then here receivables management, payment handling, subscription life cycle management, and usage and subscription processing. Blue, so we have some innovations in Blue. That means we delivered this. It's available in the system. Here you can see for which system, for example, this post-billing content from sales, billing, and contract accounting. This is part in Q4 2019. It was delivered for Cloud 1911. That means in general for Cloud. Also here, for example, here this one, Financial Customer Care, here we'll see only SAP S/4HANA 1919. So that means we delivered this feature with S/4HANA OP 1999 version. So now I will select what is coming soon. Q1 this year until end of next year. Also here you will see here the orange color. That always means that is planned for future release. Also here you can see it's future release. So you will get on a really easy way the difference between some releases, some systems. That is just only an overview. You can also do a deep dive into the single points. I will select something from converging invoicing. Like here, SAP Fiori app for uploaded billable items in converging invoicing. You have to click into this topic. You will get more information. Of course, in this is just only one sentence. Here you will have the benefits, and also here under the features. Very often here we have a PowerPoint where you will get more information about this. Or we will jump to the help portal. This could also be the case. To the Roadmap Explorer. You still see it?
Yes.
Okay, fine, thanks. Yeah, so it's a really good tool. I think now we have it for a year, something like this. and please play around, get your information which you need. Also here, if you still something missing, please write me a mail. Okay, then I will go back to the presentation. So that was everything around where you will find any kind of documentation, or where you will find some help for you, for your project, for your customer. The next one is technical extension. It's also new, was coming this year. So what is this? I think you are all familiar with converging invoicing. And you know, in on-prem and cloud, one of our basic element is a billable item. We call it billable item class. In on-premise, you have to define your own on-premise class. We will give you the tools for this. You can also define your own fields and then integrate your own fields into the billable item class. That is here, that is a core CI functionality. But now, also in discussion with customer, with consultants, also with some internal projects, we found out that this is not enough. If you want to include in our billable items class a lot of own fields, which you only need for the printout, for example, which you, so very important, these fields, you do not need these fields for the pure invoicing process, just only for printout, for whatever. If you will include this all in the billable item class, especially if you have a very long text fields, then the performance will increase and you need more memory and so on and so on. For this, we had the idea, we will give you a framework where you can define your own tables. That is then your job. If you need more information, you can, which we will have in the billable item, you can define your own table. You have to follow some rules, and if you will follow these rules, so it's very good documented, this development here, then we have the link from the billable item to your extension table. If you will upload billable items, our APIs, if you will call our APIs, then of course you can also give us information about this extension table, which we have to save then in the extension tables, not only the information for the billable items. So more or less, it's really just for you. You have to do the work, but of course, we did it in a generic way. Our APIs are very flexible, so you don't have to do your own APIs. Also in the bit monitor, we always will show for the customer also the information which you have for the customer in the extension tables. And then at the end, also our print collector will collect all this information, and you can select which kind of information you want to have on the printout. So far to the technical extension. In on-prem, it's just for you. In the cloud, in the moment, we only release this for other industries, for only SAP folks can do here their, include their extension tables. But here we have also plans to open it. I think maybe you know, maybe not. We have SAP has an own solution for utilities to bill and to invoice energy, gas, whatever. Here the classical, that is ISU, that is the classical way. Here everything, the meter reads, the billing and the invoicing is part of ISU. But in the past, and also in big discussions, it comes out that in the utilities industry, they do not want to offer only these commodity products, commodity energy, water, whatever, gas. They also want to offer non-commodity products to their customer. One simple example is, if you want to charge your electromobility car, that is for the utilities industry, it's a commodity, non-commodity product, and here you need some other kind of software. This doesn't work with a classical ISU, but it works with converging invoicing. For this, in the past, we offered a second stream. So here, still ISU, but the red one, we can create, we can generate the SIDs and billable items. We will send us this information. We will do the CI billing, converging invoicing billing. We will start with the converging invoicing. And then we will move the information to the ISU invoicing. At the end, it's only one process. And so we can bring the information from two invoicing engines to one printout. Okay, that was also the past. And now here here's its integration from CI to ISU. And now it's also really fresh. We offered with S4HANA 2020 the other way, out of ISU. So ISU is still doing the meter reads management, metadata management. It's still do the ISU billing. But after the ISU billing, after you will have the billing document, we will send this information as a billable item to the bid management, to CI. Here we are using, just only for technical purpose, the ISU invoicing process, who will do the mapping from ISU to CI. Of course, in CI, it's not limited to billable items which will come from ISU. At the end, you can also here have an parallel stream where you will send us the billable items from some other charging engine. We will collect everything. We will do the billing for a special customer. We will do the invoicing for this customer. At the end, we have one legal invoice for this customer. And in all of these three examples, at the end, we will have the FICA. It's still the same as always. So that was the integration in ISU. If you're interested in this, I guess you will get the slides here. I have some more information for you. You will find a note. Also, user assistance documentation is available. And of course, you need the implementation guide. Here you will find all this kind of information. By this, we will switch to the situation management, the last topic. So this is animated, this slide here, but I want to have everything on the slide. I think you should know the slide, more or less. This is an overview about PRIM, about converging invoicing and FICA. What do we have here? What do we see here on this slide? Here, there are services which everybody from us can consume. So let's say we will have to pay toll collect. We will do some downloads of movies or songs. What does that mean? At the end, out of this system will generate billable items if you do not want to rate it, if the price tag is still there. That's always, if I will do the download of a movie, then I know movie $9.99. If it is a toll collect, then sometimes we need a rating engine. You only will get the information. It was, let's say, 25 kilometers, but it depends on the way. If it's a highway, it's more expensive. It's a normal way. It's cheaper per kilometer, the price. So we need the rating engine. However, at the end, we can have consumption items where we have to do the rating, or we will create directly the billable items. After the rating, also the billable items will exist. Then if we will have all billable items, we will do the billing process, and then at the end, the invoicing process. With the invoicing process, we will post the information into Feature. And then here you can see the Feature processes, like dunning, interest, write-offs, what you know, what is possible, you can do it. Now, out of this process, out of rating, billing, invoicing, and out of the Feature processes, you can write or you can feed the situation management. And that is new here in this slide, that over all of these processes, we have the situation management. And how does this work? And a lot of more technical information will now Julian, my colleague, give to you. So I will stop the sharing, Julian. You can take over.
Okay. So you should now be able to see my presentation. What Jörg has briefly introduced is a new functionality which we have developed for Cloud 2008 already, and also for on-premise 2021. This will be included, and the functionality is called message-based situation handling in application jobs. The functionality is mainly about creating notifications during the data processing of scheduled application jobs. So, for example, in the convergent invoicing case, you have the option to inform your end users about critical messages which occurred during invoicing, billing, and rating. So, with that, you have the option to inform your end users about certain situations that he should look into, and you can make sure that you identify some circumstances at an early point in time. So overall, the business value of this functionality is providing monitoring capabilities that allow you to ensure that your business processes run smoothly. For a first part, we enabled our 3 main application jobs for it, which are rating, billing, and invoicing. And I will show you on the next slide a little bit more on a schema view how this looks. So we have the typical process chain within convergent invoicing, and coming from consumption items within the rating, we have billable items. Within the billing, we will get the billing documents, and as a result of invoicing, we'll have the invoicing documents. And basically, in all of these 3 mass applications, we are able to create situations. These situations can be created based on messages in the application log. So each of the mass run typically is writing a message log, which you find at the end of the day in the transaction SLG1. But this is, of course, cumbersome to look through all of the application logs. So you might want to be informed about certain messages that could arise during the application job. And when such a situation is created, it is automatically assigned to a business user according to the team responsibility configuration in your system. And at the end of the day, the business user then gets notified on that message which occurred in one of the mass runs, and he can take action and maybe avoid that something gets lost or something is noticed only very late. I will now go into a quick demo so that you get a feeling for the functionality and also see a first idea on how to use it. With that, I have prepared already some demo data, which is a billing document. So I want to demo you the situation handling on the invoicing mass run. And for that, I have prepared a billing document which cannot be invoiced because the contract account is locked. Just a basic example. And you will see that basically during invoicing, you will get an error message which says that the contract account is blocked and therefore the billing document cannot be processed. And this is the message I will be taking as an example in order to inform me as a business end user about this situation. For that, I first have to set up the situation handling, which I will be doing in an S4HANA cloud system using the BPC expert. Similar, you would do it in the IMG of your on-premise system. And here you have the application, which is called Manage Situation Types Message-Based. And this means that you have to create a situation type based on a situation template, which we ship. So such a situation type instance enables the situation handling on the customer side. And the situation type, which we are shipping, is giving you some information on how to configure the type. So this type here, test synth, is a situation type I have already created. And I will quickly jump into it in order to give you a brief explanation on what you can configure in here. I will go to the edit mode. So having created such a situation type, you can specify some administrative information like names, description, and you have to set the status to enabled in order to activate the situation type. And then the main action is the run type. Each of these run types here represents one of the mass activities that we have in convergent invoicing. And I will be demonstrating the example for invoicing. So the 2600 will be the one that is relevant for us. And basically you have multiple options to configure the situation handling for this run type. So you have the filters, and for the filters, you can restrict the situation handling on specific master data in your system. So you can, for example, say that only for a certain business partner, you want to enable the situation handling. I will be leaving this entries empty because I don't want any restrictions in here. I want to focus more on the messages. So as part of the message section here, you can list all the messages which you think are relevant for your end users to take care of. So in my case, I have just configured one message, which is called contract account is blocked for invoicing. This is the message which at the end of the day appears in the application log and for which I want to be notified. I could also specify that it should be considered only for a certain aggregation threshold. So for example, it has to appear 10 times in the log and only then a situation would be created. Furthermore, I could also assign any other messages that is available in the system and that you can think of, or you can also specify custom messages that you are raising, whatever you need basically. I will leave the threshold empty because just want to keep it simple for the example. Lastly, for my run type, I can specify an action. So I can basically give proposals to the end user on what actions he can take in order to further analyze the situation or to maybe even provide a fix for the situation. So in our case, we have defined two actions, which is navigating to the application log and navigating to our invoicing overview application, which gives you more comprehensive information on the contract account and business partner. You could also add any other action which allows you to navigate to other apps, depending on the context you do your configuration for. Having said that, I will quickly give you information on the further sections that we have, so we can configure how should the situation be displayed. For example, you can define the text and the description. So we have a preview here on how the situation should look like. In our case, it would be situation occurred for run type, and here this is a placeholder for the invoicing mass activity. Also, you can specify further information for processing. And lastly, what is important that you configure the responsibility of the situation type. So you define some team, some group of end users who will get this notification. And for that, I have used the team category FICA in the teams and responsibility management of the S4HANA system with the member function convergent invoicing. So this is a reference to a team that I have created in another configuration application, which is called Manage Teams and Responsibilities. This is the central app for setting up your team and responsibility definitions. And I have prepared a team which is called Convergent Invoicing. And as part of this team, you besides of some responsibility definitions on which you can restrict the selection of your teams. For example, you could specify some company code whatsoever or mass activity type. You have a team which is only responsible for invoicing, only for billing, or whatever you want. What is more important is that you have some team members, and in my case, I have specified a test user which will get the notification. And you can see that the test user has the function convergent invoicing. And this is basically the reference how the situation definition here finds the end users at the end of the day. That's so much of all the configuration that you can do. I leave it slim for demo purposes. And as a next step, I will be running the application job invoicing so that we now simulate a nightly run of our scheduled applications in order to create such a situation notification. For that, I start the transaction. Usually in the on-premise world, it would be FKK inf MA. In our case, it is a cloud, so we use the application job central framework in order to schedule the invoicing. And while this is loading, I'm just copying an already existing instance, so I'll start the invoicing immediately. And I have to specify some identification, as you know, also from the S4HANA on-premise world invoicing process. And I will restrict my selection to my given contract account in order not to clean up all of the data in the system. I will now schedule this application job, and it should be executed immediately. And while I refresh this here, we should soon see that the process has ended. Yeah, it has finished now, and I will quickly jump back to the Launchpad. And on top of my Launchpad, I have already placed as a app which is called My Situations Message Based. And this is basically the application where all the situations which are created are collected. So I can already see that I have 41 situations for my user. It was just before I started it, it was 40, now it's 41, which means that most likely I find a situation in here which is created only very recently. Yeah, you can see 48 seconds ago, a situation has occurred for run type 2600, which is the invoicing. And you can also see that it appeared for the master data that I was using earlier. And when I navigate into the situation, I can see further information why this situation was created. So I see, for example, exactly the message that I configured in the customizing. And also here it is reflected that the contract account is blocked, and therefore the invoicing did not run successfully. I can also see the related actions below here, which provide navigation options, for example, to the log. If I click this one, I will be navigating into the log, and I can see that exactly in the application log of this invoicing mass run, we can see the message for which the situation was created for. And when I navigate back, I can also navigate into the invoicing overview application, which provides more information on the contract account and also on all the documents which are in the system for this contract account. So if I go to the billing documents section, I will see that this was the billing document which caused the issue. And navigating back to the situation, I can see that I also can assign this situation to me. So the situation gets assigned to the current user, which is my test user. And I can also at the end of the day close the situation when I say, okay, I investigated the issue and I want to resolve it, or I have resolved it, and for that reason I'm closing the situation. And this is how you get rid of these instances again. Yeah, maybe just a quick outlook for our next developments. We will be integrating the situations also as part of the notification center that we have up here. So you don't necessarily have to step into the My Situations app. You will also receive these situations in the notification center, so that when logging onto the system in the morning, you will already have a number of notifications in your Launchpad available. And this functionality will be developed soon with cooperation of the situation handling colleagues centrally from the S4HANA. Having said that, I am done with my demo and hand back to you, Jörg. In case there are any questions in the chat, I am happy to answer them.
Thanks a lot, Julian. There's one question in the chat for you, Julian. Are there any plans to integrate situation management with the producer-consumer capabilities of SAP Enterprise Messaging Service? Do you know this? Or happy to ask.
So the question is probably more related to the situation management as a separate application or as a separate component. However, I know that the situation management does have APIs which you can use to create instances based on third-party applications, like from an SCP app or something like that. However, I'm not the developer within the situation management team, therefore I cannot give you detailed information, but I at least know the sources we can send you to make yourself familiar with the APIs of the situation management. But I guess the question doesn't go too deep into the converged invoicing. It goes more into the situation management as such.
But we can check this, yeah.
Yeah.
Another question for you, Julian.
Mm-hmm.
In situation management, is there functionality or plan also to send the message to external system endpoint, send the message through REST API to create a Jira ticket, for example?
Wasn't this just the question that you showed earlier?
No.
No.
But maybe it's the same answer.
It is probably the same answer. So you ask if you can send the message to a REST API to create a gyro ticket. Okay, so you go even one step further, meaning that you have a situation instance created already, and from the S4HANA system, you want to react on it and create a gyro ticket. That's actually an interesting use case. However, this is also goes more into the technology of the situation handling. I guess as of today, there is no out-of-the-box functionality to achieve something. However, there are certain events that you can register on, and inside of these events, you could then define your own logic. For example, create a Jira instance or a Jira item. But that, of course, would then be stuff that you have to do on your own. There is no out-of-the-box integration to Jira as of today. And I also am not aware of any plans to achieve that.
But if there are no further questions, you always have the possibility to send us an email, and we will answer them via email. So if the question will come later, doesn't matter. And I think somehow you also will get the slides here. Last chance to give us a question. If not, thanks.
There's one more question in the chat.
Session. Sorry?
There's one more question in the chat.
No, this was only a thank you for your answer, Julian.
No. There's another one in the chat. Someone is asking, how do we get on the distribution list for these sessions here? So I don't know if these sessions are scheduled regularly, or maybe you have more information on that, Jörg.
I have also to ask, yeah. This was the first time that we doing this kind of learning room session. I think this replaced the billing online meeting, but I will ask the organization guy for this one, yeah, if this will be done on a regular basis or not. But just send me the, yeah, I will put this information into my slide. Then if you will share the slide, you also have the answer for this. Good. Thanks a lot.